folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by for a watch. If you like the video, I would encourage you to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe share it with your friends. That helps us out here on the channel quite a bit. It really gets the word out and helps the channel grow, and I sure appreciate it. Today, I have a lot I want to say, probably more than will fit in the time slot that I usually give for videos. So I don't know how much of it I'm going to get out in one video. Also ahead of time, I want to apologize for any wind noise. It's a little windy today and my little microphone is broken. So I don't have any way to record this without having some possible wind noise. So we'll see. I hate to be the, to sound like I'm saying the sky is falling or hyping it up. And I've said that in the past about a lot of things that, I don't want to come across ever as someone that's hyping things up beyond where they need to be. I want to be bringing useful information, something that'll kind of open your mind, make you think, challenge your thoughts, teach you some things. But I never want to be the one that's, like some other people online that are on just to, get the fright factor and to scare people. But that being said, I do believe in my heart that we as a nation, as a people, and as a planet are experiencing something that we probably have never experienced in human history. It definitely not in recent history, and I will stand by my previous statements and past videos that we are experiencing a change in our society, a change in our government, a change in the systems around us, food systems, health systems, whatever you want to call it, that we're never going to see go back to the way it was before. And the things that I've talked about many times on this channel and others have talked about on their channels of getting yourselves prepared for the things that could happen, those SHTFs, the apocalypse. Folks, I believe that we are in the middle of that right now. I've seen little funny little things online that, people are like, well, I thought the apocalypse would be, zombies attacking, and the apocalypse is me getting locked in my house, sitting eating Cheetos, watching TV. Yeah, that's because they want it to be that way. They don't want you out and seeing what's going on. They don't want you thinking about the future repercussions of what's gonna happen. They want you nice and complacent and at home and just, believing that whatever's gonna happen, the government's got control and it'll be all right. Don't worry, just trust us, right? Well, folks, there's a lot of things collapsing around us. The news media isn't really covering it, and I don't care which side of the aisle, the political aisle you prefer, left or right, neither of them have our best interests at heart. I know there's many people that watch this channel that are, Republicans. They may prefer the sitting president, and I'm not on here to talk trash about him or about any of his opponents or any political party. I'm telling you, the people involved in government, their best interest is not the same as yours. Got a lot of wind here, so I may have to edit some of this out. We'll see. It's really kicking up now. For instance, the food system is collapsing. This isn't just me. This isn't just some conspiracy theorist that's talking about that. It is collapsing. There have been countless meat plants closed. Dairy farmers are dumping their food. Meat farmers or ranchers and farmers are being told to euthanize their animals, whether it's cattle, chickens, pigs, whatever it is, because there's no market for them. They can't afford to keep feeding them. No one wants them, so they're being euthanized by the thousands. Crops are being plowed under. crops that are either that or they're just rotting on the vine. They're not being harvested, and the ones that are being harvested, many of them are just being dumped in piles. Now, of course, their reasoning is that there's this backlog in the system. I've gone over it before in other videos. You know, there's no restaurants buying, schools, blah, blah, blah. So we just got to get rid of it. Well, that food was meant to be eaten. And if it's not being eaten, then it's going to cause a hiccup in the system, and a big one. And I know a lot of you, and I even saw the other day on it was online, some post, and this person jumped in and said, don't worry about it. Sure, it's a little slow down, but once everything opens back up, it's all just going to go back to normal and it'll be fine. Folks, that's not how it works. One of the things I've been, hammering on since I've started this channel is the fragility of our system of systems. Our utility system, the electric, the electric system of wires, infrastructures, the fragility of our food supply, the fragility of our clean water, the fragility of our health care. All these things we are dependent on to just work. But the reality is the way we have allowed them to be created and set up, it would not take very much to cause them to collapse. And that's what's happening right now. The UN a week and a half ago stated that they predicted that by this summer we're going to see famines of biblical proportions, and they're predicting at least 130 million people dying worldwide due to starvation because of what's going on. Now, I understand that the vast majority of those are probably going to be in third world countries, but it doesn't mean that that's not going to affect us here in America, because we're seeing food lines that go for miles. There's all kinds of videos that you can pull up online of people going around and showing these people miles long, thousands of cars in food lines. Food banks are saying that they're running out of food. They can't give out enough food. They don't have enough. They can't get enough food in to give away, and they're getting lots of donations from companies. Companies are claiming that they're donating lots of food, and yet the people aren't getting enough food. There's people already talking about how they're losing their house, they're losing their car. Of course, they haven't been working for so long. It's all coming to a head real soon. The head of Tyson said last week that we are watching our food supply crumble. Yes, he said we're watching it fall apart. That is what's happening. This isn't just a little, pause in the system. We are watching it fall apart. This is something that you have to, take it serious, folks. I know there's so much misinformation out there. It's a struggle. I've really tried to kind of back away from a lot of the stuff that's being told and just kind of use my own gut feelings and heart and focus on what we've got to do here at the homestead. Focus on producing more food, getting infrastructure ready, security, things like that. I made a video just a few days ago on that exact subject. Putting my energy and efforts into things that are worthwhile rather than worrying about what's going on in the world when we already know that it's bad and it's falling apart. It's, the food supply is critical. If you look at some of the numbers, there's videos out there of farmers, beef producers that aren't able to sell their beef. They're euthanizing them. And yet we're importing stuff from other countries. It's all part of a game, folks. And you're not part of it. I believe it was George Carlin once that said, they're all part of the elite club or the big men club, and you're not in it. That's the truth. He also said something like the American dream only works if you're asleep. Well, folks, I hope that most of you are awake. I believe most of my listeners are. And I'm telling you, there's no American dream out there anymore. It is coming apart. And if you're not prepared and you're not doing things to get prepared, I fear that it's going to just continue to get worse. I could be wrong, and if I am, I will certainly admit it months from now if it comes out that, this all just fades away and everything goes back to normal and we live in this better utopian society. But I have a feeling that that's not going to happen. even experts in the White House, including people like Bill Gates, have claimed that a vaccine won't be ready for at least 18 months. Many other experts are saying that a vaccine may never work due to the nature of this type of virus. So everyone's sitting back saying, well, it'll be all right once a vaccine comes. Well, that vaccine, you know, number one, beside the fact if it's actually going to be good for you to take, because many of you know the junk that's put into those, but let's just take it on face value. Let's assume that they are able to come out with a vaccine and that it's actually effective and works. We're talking 18 months away. How many of these people are going to be able to stay out of work and pay their bills for 18 months? Not being able to get the food that they need. Where's the food supply system going to be in 18 months if it's already fallen apart like it is now? You know, we're looking at, you know, full-blown socialism with the talks of just sending people money every month. You can't just keep doing that. You can't just keep printing money over and over again. It's going to fall apart, okay? Unless you just enjoy going to the grocery store in 3 or 4 months and paying $10 for a loaf of cheap bread or more. Because that's what's going to happen if we just keep giving money away. You know, we were already on the verge of that with the amount of trillions of dollars in debt that we were already in. And here we are in 1 year spending trillions and trillions more, just giving it away for free. It doesn't work that way, folks. You know, let me switch gears real quick here. Something that was more personal. I've been hearing a lot of people say that, but this all fits, so bear with me. Been hearing a lot of people say that you can't get freezers, you know, deep freezers, chest freezers, that they're being sold out. You can't find one. So I kind of decided to do my own little kind of investigation, and for a few days I looked online and could not find any used ones for sale. So I decided, I called a Lowe's, I called a Sears Home Store, and I called a Best Buy. We don't have any of those near us, but I went ahead and called them anyways. And all three of them told me almost the very same thing. That not only are they completely sold out, hold on, got another gust of wind coming. That not only are they sold out, but their warehouse is empty, and they have been told that the manufacturers will not have any available until maybe June or July. Many of the manufacturers of refrigerators and freezers have shut down because of the virus, and there's just none available. So people that want to stock up on things because of, hey, what's going on, and you know, there may not be meat available in 6 months, it's going to be difficult if you don't have a freezer. Of course, there's other ways to preserve meat, but the average person doesn't know about those other ways. They're not skilled enough. They want a freezer to stick their food in. And so I started checking around some more, and many, I can't say all, but many of the local processors that would process, you know, if your deer or your local meat, are booked up crazy because everyone's butchering their beef because they see the handwriting on the wall. A lot of these beef producers are selling their cows, their heifers, their steers to try to just get out of it. You know, they're losing money, and so a lot of them are selling them real cheap, which I guess if you're buying right now, you probably can do a pretty good job of getting some cheap beef. But the long-term effects is going to hit us, folks. So we're seeing many things that aren't even being talked about in the media. We're seeing, you know, food systems starting to collapse. We're seeing the social unrest of people because they're fed up with losing their job. They're fed up with losing their homes and their cars or their whatever it is, and they can't go get out. And some of it is ridiculous. You know, they're upset they can't go get their $10 coffee or whatever it is. But there is some legitimate things. And then also, on top of all these things, we are also seeing our government, especially on the local level, local law enforcement specifically, becoming, I really don't know a nice, pleasant, politically correct word. And I'm former law enforcement, so I'm not on here bashing police. I feel being former law enforcement, I have kind of a right to say, you know, speak the truth about them. But we're seeing many places where local law enforcement is acting really not any different than what you would have seen back in the 30s and 40s in, you know, Nazi Germany. People are getting, you know, I watched a video yesterday of these two law enforcement officers, two police officers showed up at this lady's house because she let her child go over to the neighbor's house and played. And they were on there threatening to you know, take some legal action against her because she allowed her child to go over to the neighbor's house and play, and that person had their kid, you know, let their kid come over to her house and play because we're in a quarantine lockdown. We're seeing people that are, you know, they may have friends or family over to their house and the police are coming over and they're arresting or ticketing, citing people. We're seeing that the police are citing and arresting people for going to church. You know, the absolute draconian, dictatorial, totalitarian type of actions that we are seeing that are completely trampling every semblance of freedom that we ever thought we had here in the United States. It's happening right before our eyes, and no one is doing a thing about it. There's restrictions in some places on firearms, on purchasing firearms, on using firearms, and these are not being done legally. These are not laws. These are declarations and mandates from the governors, from the mayors, from the heads of the county, from the president himself. There's no legal process of creating proper legislation that's being done. These are just decrees from the king that's being, you know, looked upon as law, and everyone's just following it. And if you disobey these decrees, then you go to jail or you get fined a heavy fine. Where did we go wrong? Are we so terrified of a virus that has killed a lot of people and certainly has the potential to kill a lot more? And I'm not discounting that for one instant, but the collateral damage that is happening while this virus is working its way through our nation is going to be way worse than the virus could ever hope to be. So folks, I'm pleading with you, if you have any ability to get out of cities, if you have any ability to stock up more, if you have any ability to do the things to prepare yourself to be more self-sufficient, to prepare yourself for what is coming. I'm telling you folks, I'm not on here, I promise you, I'm trying not to sound like I'm just hyping it up. It really is a true concern of mine because I have amazing listeners. You folks out here that are constantly watching my videos, hey, you're like a family. And the things that are happening, it's going to get worse and it's going to get serious. So folks, seriously, please do what you can to get ready, because there's a storm coming and it's way worse. It's way worse than what we thought was going to happen or what has happened with this virus. So do what you can to start preparing for the storm. Because yes, like experts and government officials have said already, once this is over, it will change America as we know it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.